Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So inshallah we will be learning ayat number 42 to 44 of Surah AnNamal. The background so far is that Sulaiman alayhi salam is handling the situation where the Queen of Sheba is about to arrive in his land. And by certain means of some knowledgeable person, Sulaiman alayhi salam has her throne sitting in front of him. And so the ayat 42 will do a simple translation first, that what happens next. So Queen of Sheba arrives, and then the ayat starts, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Falamma Ja'at. So when she came, she arrived where the palace was for the king. Qila, it was said to her. What was said? Someone spoke to her, someone said something to her. Aha kada arshoki. Is this like your throne? So she was shown the throne that was sitting there, and she was asked if this throne which is sitting here is like what you have back home. So she responded, Qalat, she said, Ka'annahu, this is as huwa, like I have back there. Then she spoke after that, Wa'utina, and we were given, and it was given to us, what was given? Al-ilma, the knowledge. Min qabliha, before her arrival or before her. These words are interpreted differently by the scholars. The utinal ilma, these words, some scholars say that these were spoken by Sulaiman alayhi salam, and some others say that they were spoken by the Queen of the Sheba. But anyway, the meaning is that whoever is speaking is saying, utinal ilma, the knowledge had been given to us, min qabliha, before this or before her arrival. Wakunna Muslimin, and we have already been those who have submitted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then in the ayat number 43, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making a statement about the queen. Wasaddaha, and she was, what diverted her, ma kanat ta'abudu min dunillah, that she used to worship other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which means she and her nation used to worship sun, leaving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that was the reason that she had stayed away from the guided path. And Allah says, Innaha kanat, indeed she was, min qawmin kafirin, of those people who disbelieve or reject. So that is up to this point. Then another situation is being mentioned, that when she arrived into the palace, she arrived in the palace, then something was in front of her, and she faced the situation. Qila laha, it was said to her, someone spoke to her and something was said. What was said? Udkhuli, enter. So someone is saying to her, enter this place. What was the place? As-Sarha, the palace. So there is a palace, and someone says, enter the palace. So she wanted to enter, but she saw that there was some water there in the front. So that is what next word say, Falamma ra'atuhu, when she saw it, the palace, the front of the palace, hasibatuhu, she thought, lujjatan, that there was a pond of water there. So in order that her dress doesn't get wet, she thought that she has to walk through this water to go further. وَكَشَفَتْ عَنْ سَاقَيْهَا. She uncovered her shin, the bottom part of her leg. So uncovered means she pulled the dress or moved the dress from the bottom of the leg so dress doesn't get wet. So when she was doing that, Qala, he said, or someone said, Innahu sarhun, indeed this is a palace, Mumarradum min qawarir, which is made smooth by the glasses, by the glass or crystal. So it is not water, it is a crystalline floor which looks to you like it is water. So upon that she realized one more thing. Qalat, she said, Rabbi, my Rabb, my Lord, Inni zalamtu nafsi, I have done wrong to myself. Wa aslamtu, and I submit, ma'a Sulaymana, with Sulaiman, lillahi, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rabbil alameen, he is the Lord of the worlds. So basically at this ayat, the story of Sulaiman alayhi salam and Queen of Sheba ends. And then after that, some other events are described in the Quran. So we'll look into that. So we'll go back to the beginning and do a breakdown of the words here. Few things I want to point out because most of the vocabulary and grammar here in these verses are about the female, the women. And the grammar for women are different, grammar and vocabulary, than what is used for males. So this is mostly grammar of female here. And there is a subtle rule for that to make the grammar. For example, if I have these three letters, fa, and lam, fa'ala. Fa'ala means he, and he is a masculine or a male, and past tense, he did. When we want to make the grammar of she instead of he, then simply we add a ta at the end and pronounce as fa'alat. So we will see a repetition of this rule that when you see three letters which are he did, and if you add a ta at the end with the sukoon and pronounce as fa'alat, that will move the grammar to the feminine. Okay, she did. This is going to repeat many times because she is doing something, she is saying something. So mostly the grammar of feminine is used here. Number one. Number two, there are a couple other things. For example, if you have a letter ka, and for example, you want to join with another word, let's say kitabun. Kitabun means a book. And ka, letter ka means you. Am I addressing somebody who is in front of me? You. Kitabun and you. And book. Now, when I want to make a relationship between these two, okay, I can join this by putting an off in English in between, and it will be book of you or your book. What actually happens in Arabic when we join these two, there's a rule for that called mudaf ilayh, joining two nouns or one noun and one pronoun. Always the word noun has two pesh or two dhamma at the end, and it is the sound of noon. So the word is actually kita. If I pronounce the word and write down how I'm pronouncing, it is actually kitabun. So instead of writing noon, I'm writing two pesh or two dhammas, but the sound is kitabun. So when I combine this with the letter ka, which means you, then what I do, I drop this noon sound there. So it becomes kitabuka. So basically I remove one dhamma, so it becomes kitabuka. So that's the rule of combining a noun and a pronoun. So we will be repeating some details about this in these verses. One more thing I want to point out, that this letter ka means you, but you has to be a male. Okay? If I have a female and I'm talking to her, then it is ki. You, I'm talking to one person, one female, who is you, but if it is a female, then it will be the letter ki, not ka. So keep all these things in mind. There will be repetition of some of these things, some of these rules. So the ayat starts with the word falamma. Falamma is made of two parts. Fa means so or then, and lamma means when. So falamma, so when, which means she has arrived there and she is about to enter. So when she arrived. What is the word for that? The root letters are Jim, Ya, and Hamza. Okay. The meaning of this is to come. Okay. If I put 3 fathas, it will become the word Ya with a fatha will be sounded like an alif, and Jim is there, and Hamza is there. Okay. So this is the grammar of he came. He, third person male, he came. Okay. And also the rule is that when you have a Hamza and there is a alif before that, in the tajweed you put a mad there and pronounce ja'a. Ja'a means he came. Now instead of a he, if she came, the rule is that we add a ta at the end with a sukoon. So the word became ja'at. That's the word in the Quran. Falamma ja'at, then when she came or she arrived in the land of Sulaiman alayhi salam, the queen. Then what happened after that? That someone received and someone started talking to her. So the root letters are Qaf, Waw, and Lam. Qawala, this means to say. And if I put 3 fathas, it becomes the grammar of he said. And Waw with the fatha sound changes into alif, so it becomes Qala. Qala means he said. Someone said something, past tense, third person past tense. He said. Now this is active. Qala, he said. If I want to make a passive voice of that, passive sound, in English we have active and passive. In English, the passive will be it was said. So I want to make the Arabic of this passive, it was said. And the rule is that in this simple case, we make the following change. If I make this change, qila. Qila is passive. Qala, active, he said. Qila, it was said. So that is the word in the Quran. Qila, it was said. Something was said to her. The next word is a very interesting word, and I want to do a breakdown of that. Aha kaza. Okay. It is actually made of so many letters. First of all, there is an alif in the beginning with a hamza. This letter with the hamza brings the question mark. For example, I say, I went. If I put alif in the beginning, meaning will be, did I go? So first letter, and I'm actually, let me first write it down. This is the word I'm explaining here. Aha ka za. Okay. This is the word I'm going to explain. So the first thing is that I'm alif with a fatha means to make a question mark statement. The letter ha with a fatha and this ha this has a particular name. This letter is called harf-e-tambih. Tambih means to insist on something, to emphasize on something. So just keep in mind that this doesn't have any actual meaning, but in the statement it is bringing the tambih. You know, Urdu word tambih is to insist on something, to make sure that you do something. So that is used for understanding. You cannot translate this one. Letter ka after that means as or same. So it will be just the meaning same or as it is or same as. Okay. Then this combination of dal, alif, za means it. Okay. So this one word is made of so many different things. Okay. So now translate. Ha cannot be translated, but just has to be understood. Kada, same it. Aha kada, is it same as it? Is it like it? So this is the meaning of the word, but it will make the sentence become more clear. But something, is it like this? If you are telling something, is it same as this thing? This is what the meaning of aha kada. Then the word after that is arshoki. So the word is arshun. Arshun means throne. Arshun means throne. Now, as I mentioned that kaf with a kasra is you, but it is feminine. Okay. This is word for, if you are talking to a female and you are saying you, then you use ki. So now combine arshun and ki. So this is throne. And by putting an off in between, it will become your throne. Okay. And the rule is that you remove the sound of noon or one dhamma, so it becomes arshoki, your throne. So now translate with aha kada arshoki. Someone said to her, is this throne like yours? Same as yours. Which means you have a throne back home. There is a throne arsh sitting here. Does this throne like the same as what you have back home? So that was the statement, aha kada arshoki. We have to read, we have to be careful reading, because most of the grammar is a feminine grammar. People are not used to of reading that kind of grammar, so they may recite arshoka. It is arshoki. Ki is pointing to the female. So what happened? So the question was asked her. So now she is replying. And again, as I mentioned, the rule is that qala, he said. And if you put a ta at the end, it becomes a feminine grammar. Qalat, she said. That's the word in the Quran. She replied. She said. What did she say? She said the word ka, and this ka means same or as. Same or as. Anna means that or surely, both meanings. And who means it. And then the word after that is hova. Hova also means this or it. Okay, now what's the difference? This it is pointing to the throne which is sitting right there. This hova is pointing to the throne that she has back home. So what she's saying, this is sounds like same, it is same as that. So if you translate this, for example, that distance, her throne. So she ka'annahu hova, those are the words in the Quran. Ka'annahu hova, this seems like this is the one same as that one. Okay, so that's her answer. Someone said, is this like your throne? She replied it seems like it is the same as I have back there. Ho and hova. So that's the meaning so far. Then two words are spoken. Wa'utinal ilma. So let's understand that wow means and, and then the two words are utina and al ilma. So al ilma is from the word ilmun, which is knowledge. The first word is alif, ta, and ya. Root letters are these. Ata, three letters. This means to come. The meaning of these three letters is to come. This is belong to the group of the word we call fa'ala. I want to go to the next group of the words which are called af'ala, where we add an alif in the beginning. So this becomes four letters word. Alif, alif, and ta and ya. And now the meaning changes. The meaning is to give. So ata means to come, and these are two alifs, so they sound like a. Ata means to give. Okay, so this is the word we are going to use. Ata means to give. Okay, so we are going to use this. Okay, now first of all, I'm going to make the very simple word out of that. First of all, one of the rule is that when you have two alifs together, in Usmani script they are written as this one, Hamza and alif, and they are sound like a. And then if I combine ta with a ya and put a noon at the end, it becomes ataina. Ataina means it's a plural of we gave. Fa'alna, we did. When you put a na at the end, it becomes the past tense of plural. Ataina, we gave. So this is the simplest grammar, and this is active, we gave. We actually want to make the grammar of we were given. So that is a passive. So now we have to make the grammar of the passive. In order to make the grammar of the passive, there's a rule. So this is ataina. The rule is that simple rule is that if you have a fa'ala, he did. Okay, fa'ala, he did. If I want to make the grammar of it was done, okay, the rule is that you take the first letter and change to dhamma and second letter to a kasra. You just make these harakat move around and it becomes fo'ila. Fo'ila means it was done. Okay, so this is the rule we are going to apply. And so if we're going to change this to a dhamma, okay, and this to a kasra, okay, and the alif with a hamza with the alif is sounding like oo. Wow is written there to make the sound oo tina. That's the word in the Quran. Oo tina. It was given to us. Something was given to us. That's the word in the Quran. Utina, it's a passive voice. Ataina, we gave. Utina, it was given. What was given to us is al-ilmu. Ilmun is the word. When you put al, it becomes al-ilmu, the knowledge. But it is coming as an object of maf'ul of utina, and when that happens, this changes to a fatah and becomes al-ilma. And then you read together, wa utina al-ilma, and the knowledge has been given to us. Now, some mufassirin say that is the word coming out of Sulaiman alayhi salam. He is saying that Allah has given us the knowledge, and some people say that she is saying that knowledge has been given to us. Either way, both may be right. Min qabliha. Min is a harf jar, and qablun is the word. Qablun means before. Qablun is the full word, before, and ha means it. Okay, So first you combine these two. Qabluha. Qabluha, by the combination one of these will go. And min is a harf-jar. Harf-jar will change qablo to qabli. So the combination of all these three will be min qabliha, before it, before this incident, before now, the knowledge had been given to us. So that is being said, okay. And then after the word is wa kunna muslimin. Kunna is kaf, waw, noon. Kauna means to be, and kunna is fa'alna, waw drops out, so it becomes kunna. Fa'alna, we were. Kunna means we were. So wa kunna muslimin, and we became, or we were, muslimin is simple word, those who submit. It's a plural of muslimun, muslimeen. Then next ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَصَدَّهَا مَا كَانَتْ تَعْبُدُ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ. Simple words, but the main word is that swad, dal and dal. Sadada. Swad, dal, dal means to divert someone, to change the attention or direction of someone. So when you say put the three words, sadda, that it diverted, it changed the direction. Then ha goes to her. Saddaha, she or her attention was diverted, or her faith was diverted. Ma, whatever, kana was. So but let me show one more thing here. Kana, it was, and it's a masculine word. He was. If I put a ta at the end, it becomes kanat. It becomes a feminine word. Kanat means she was, or she became, or she was. Okay. Now the word is abada. Abada means to worship. Simple word. If I put a ta in the beginning, it becomes the grammar of feminine. Ta'abudu, she worships. Okay. Or so ta'abudu, this ta here is bringing she. So ta'abudu, kana ta'abudu, she worships. Ta'abudu. But this ta'abudu means she worships, but there is a word kanat before that. So when kanat comes before, the meaning will be she used to worship. The combination, separately the word is ta'abudu, she worships. Kanat, she was. But when you combine these two, this was will change into she used to worship. Kanat ta'abudu, she used to worship. Min dunillah, other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So ma kanat ta'abudu min dunillah, whatever she used to worship other than Allah, saddaha, that thing had stopped her from worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then in the further says, inna, ha. Inna means definitely, ha is pointing to the queen. Indeed, she was. Kanat, same word, she was. Or min qawmin kafirin, among the people who were kafirin or disbeliever. So this is a statement about her previous, past, and now. Then one more thing happens. We go to the next ayat. Qila laha. The word qila means it was said. We just looked at that. Laha, la means to, and ha means her. Okay. It was said to her. Somebody said to her. What did somebody say to her? Udkhuli. I want to break down that word. Dakhala means to enter. The word, common word in Urdu also, to enter, dakhil hona, dakhala. Okay. If I make a 4-letter by adding the word alif in the beginning, it is adkhala. Adkhala means you make someone enter. It's a two persons activity. Dakhala, you are entering. Adkhala, someone is sending you, someone is making you enter. It's a af'ala, it's a two people's activity, admitting someone. So adkhala. Now, if I make the following way, if I put a dhamma on first letter and pronounce as udkhil with a sukoon at the end, this is a command, this is an order. If you are telling one person, enter or admit, go inside, you will say not khil, khul. Udkhul. So if you are telling a person, enter or go inside, udkhul, but this person has to be a male. If you are telling a male person, enter a room somewhere, you will say udkhul. It's a command, it's an order you are telling the person. Now, if this person is a female, then the grammar is different. What is the grammar? If it is a female, then you add a ya at the end. So the word becomes udkhuli. Udkhuli is a female in front of you, you are telling her, enter, admit, go inside. So that is udkhuli. Okay. Now, one thing I want to point out here, that in last few sessions I have pointed out something that, let's say, do it this way. Let's first write down the word udkhuli. Udkhuli. This is enter, you're telling a person, enter, and the person has to be a female. Okay. Now, if I use the male grammar here, for example, udkhul, you are telling a person, enter, and this person is a male, or admit, not enter, but admit, send. Okay. Now, there is a letter ya, which means me. Okay. If I want to say, admit me, I can combine these two, and it will be udkhili, same as this one, so there will be confusion there. What am I saying? So in order to distinguish that, I stick a little noon there, noon of separation. This is called noon firqaya. That is the reason we stick this noon there. So now you pronounce udkhulni. So you're not mixing up with this word here. If you don't put the noon there, noon has no purpose other than it is separating the two words together. Okay, telling you that this is another word, this is another word. Here, this is just one word, udkhuli, okay, for female. If you just don't put the noon there, then you'll pronounce udkhuli. So you don't know if you're talking to admit me or you're talking to a female that go inside. So this is the importance of noon firqaya or noon separation, and the pronunciation will be udkhulni. The important thing to distinguish, because these repeats in the Quran many times. So someone is saying to her, qila, enter. It was said, lahal khulni. You read them together. Instead of udkhulni, you will pronounce lahal khudni. Someone said to her, enter or admit. Where to admit? The root letters are Sad, Ra, and Ha. And Sarhun means a palace. A kingly palace is called Sarhun. Okay, palace. And when you put al before that, it means da. And when you pronounce, lam is not pronounced, swad is pronounced twice. So it is, and lam kills one dhamma. So it becomes asu sarhu, the palace. Admit, go inside the palace. Now palace is asarhu, but work is being done on this thing. It is a maf'ul, it is an object, and for that we always change this to a fataha. So asarha is the word. Udkhilis sarha. Someone said to her, enter this palace. So someone brought her to the entrance of the palace and offered her to walk in there. So what happened? Falamma just came. So when, at that time when she is at the door, the word is Ra, Alif and Ya. To see. The meaning of these three letters is to see. When you put three fathas, it becomes he saw. He saw. And if you add a ta at the end, it becomes a feminine grammar. Okay? And ya is not pronounced, so it becomes, or actually it is it is not pronounced, so it is dropped actually. Ya is just a sound. So Ra'at, she saw. Who? It. It is the entrance of the palace. It's pointing to the palace. So someone said to her, enter the palace. Falamma ra'athu. So when she saw it, the entrance point of the palace, hasibathu. Hasaba means to think. Hisab lagana. Hasaba means to think about something. Okay. Hasaba. Simple again the rule. If I put seen in this case carries a kasra, so hasiba means he thought. Hasiba, he thought. Usne guman kiya. Again, feminine grammar, put a ta at the end. Hasibat, she thought. Who? Who means again it, the entrance of the palace. Hasibathu, she thought of it, she imagined the entrance of the palace. What did she imagine? The word is lujjatun. Lam, jim and jim. The noun is lujja and it's a feminine noun. So lujjatun is a pond of water, like a swimming pool or a tank of water. Lujjatun. Lujjatun. Yeah. Lujjatun is a noun. It's like a swimming pool. Entry, the pond of water. There is some water there, and it's in a tank of water, something. It's called lujjatun. This word is coming as the maf'ul of hasibat. She saw this. So when object of maf'ul, always just change to two fathas. So she thought, she imagined that there was some water there. Someone said enter, and at the entry point, she looked at the floor or in front of her and she thought there was some water there. So what did she do? Okay, I want to explain next three words are very important to understand. Wa means and when the sound, waw is there, then you sound noon as noon hunna. So lujjatun will be pronounced lujjatum, idgham, but that's the tajweed. Wa means and. Kashafat an. So let's understand that word. Kaf, sheen and fa are the root letters. Kashafa. Kashafa is commonly also used when someone is open to you, someone is revealed to you, something you become knowledgeable is kashaf ho gaya kehte, kashafa. If I use the word an after that, an is a preposition and it will do couple purposes here. Then the meaning of these three, kashafa an, will be to uncover something. Something is covered, you want to uncover something. So let's keep that in the meaning. Okay. So if I put three fathas, kashafa, he did that. Okay. But if I put a ta at the end, it becomes feminine grammar. Kashafat. She opened or she uncovered. Okay. So that's the word in the Quran. Kashafat, she uncovered Un will be combining and it will be bring the meaning of uncovering, opening. Okay, but that is one part. The other part I want to point out is very important, is that the root letters are seen, wow, and qaf. And we'll come back and combine the meaning of these words. Seen, wow, and qaf, 3 letters. Saqun is the noun. We are going to work with this word. Saqun. First of all, what is a saqun? Saq has many meanings, but when you make the grammar, the word noun saqun, saqun is the part of the leg between the ankle and the knee. Okay, your part of the body of the leg is starting from the ankle to the knee. In English, it is called shin, one of the meaning. Urdu में पिंडली कहते हैं उसे. So that is the area of the body, of the part, which is called saqun. Okay, now, how many saq we have? 2, right? We have one right leg, one left leg, and we have 2 saq. Okay, so what's the plural of saqun? Rule number 1, it's very important. You have a word, for example, walidun or walidatun. Okay, one father, one parent. Walidun is one parent. We have 2 parents, walidun and walidatun. It doesn't matter if one male is one female. The plural of 2 is walidan. Okay, in Urdu we speak wrong. Okay, we say walidan. Actually, word is walidan. Okay, walidani. Okay, why do it became walidain? But if you have a harf jar before that, for example, if I put a b, which means with, if I am going out with my parents or doing something with them, the harf jar changes this to walidaini. So that is the characteristic of the harf jar. If there is before that, it changes walidan to walidain. Okay, but if you are speaking the word by itself, it should be spoken as walidan. If there is a harf jar, it should become walidain, be walidain, for example. But in Urdu, we use walidain, doesn't matter how we are using that. We didn't bring walidan from Arabic into Urdu, just walidain. That's a different thing. So what I want to point it out is that the important thing is that the plural of 2, okay, so I'm going to apply that rule on this one. So in order to make the plural, I'm going to add alif and noon. Okay, walidun, walidanun, alif and noon. Okay, so this will become saqiwanun, saqiyanun, however, but it's going to change. Walidan, saqunan, or something like that, because it's going to change. Okay, so now what I want to do is that, first of all, there is an harf jar. Harf jar will change this to ya, but it is not done yet. Okay, actually I want to write a little bit more to make it more explained. See, notice one thing here when I said wa li dun. This is the word. So when I make the plural of 2, what am I doing actually? I'm taking the sound of noon here. Keep sound of noon is 2 pesh, and actually I'm changing that into the sound of noon here and just adding an alif. Okay, so this dhamma, 2 dhammas which are the sound of noon, which I can write down as like this one, noon. Walidun. Okay, this is same as walidun with 2 pesh, but actually the sound of noon. So in here, all I'm doing is that I'm adding an alif in there. By adding the alif in there, I'm making a plural of two. By adding the alif, I'm making a plural of two. Okay, so remember this rule. The actual word in a singular has two pesh, and two dhammas have the sound of noon. So I'm going to rewrite them as this way. Sound is same, walidun. I'm writing this way or with the two pesh and not noon. When I make the plural of two, all I'm doing is sticking an alif there. Okay, so this becomes walidani. Okay, so this is what I'm doing. I'm just adding an alif there. So saqun is the word. Let's do the same thing upon that. Saqun means one shin, one pindali. Okay, saqun. Now I'm going to first thing is going to write down. This was a noon. Okay, saqun. Okay, now I want to make the plural of two. I stick the alif here in between. So this becomes sa ka ni. Sa ka ni. Okay. An is a harf jar. Just I showed you that if you put a B, it changes to ya. So it becomes saqaini. So this is the actual word. Saqaini means two shins, one in each leg. Okay. Now ha, stick ha after that. Ha is pointing to the queen, her or she. Okay. Now I want to combine and say two shins of her. Okay. And what that will do, that will drop the sound of this noon there. Kitabun become kitabuha. Saqaini becomes saqaiha. That's exactly the word in the Quran. Saqaiha means her two legs, shins. Kashafat, she uncovered, she pulled the dress up, opened up her two legs, two shins of hers. Kashafat an saqaiha. That's what she did because she thought there was water in front of her. So when she did that, qala, he said, someone said, we don't know, it may be Suleiman or it may be somebody else. Somebody said to her, innahu, indeed this, who is pointing now to the floor of the palace. Innahu, indeed this is. What is this is? Sarhun. I mentioned that. Sarhun means the palace. The next word is marada. Marada is actually this is fala, 3 letters. And if I put a shadda, it becomes fa'ala. So it becomes marada. Okay. Marada is something like if you have a nice floor there and you put a glass crystal on that. The word is qawarir, is the glass or crystalline glass. So if you make the floor so shiny with the glass, for example, okay. So this is marradun means to place, to make smooth. And in Urdu, I usually think that's like heere jad dena, yeah, crystal. You know, you take a nice, you make a floor, and you put so nice glass, actually crystalline glass all over. That is marrada. Marrada. Mumarrid is something that has been made. Mufa'il, fa'ala, Muslim. So mumarradun is the word that means something that has been furnished, has been decorated, has been made smooth. Min qawarir. Qawarir is the glass, crystalline glass. So someone said this is not water. You don't need to take your shins open up. This is the floor made of the crystalline glass, and the way the setup is that it looks like it's water to you. Like a beautiful pond of water in front of you, light green, light blue, and something is moving there, some reflection is falling from somewhere, and it looks like it's water there. Okay. So someone stopped her from removing her bottom part of her clothes. Qalat, she said, Rabbi, my Rabb, inni, I indeed, zalama, to do wrong. Zalama, to do wrong. Okay. Fa'al, to, if I have fa'ala, to do, and if I pronounce as a fa'al tu, this is not fa'alat, this is not a feminine grammar. This is fa'al tu, there is a dhamma at the end. This is not a feminine grammar. Fa'al tu means I did, and this I can be a male or female. This grammar is common for both, male and female. Fa'alatu, I did. A woman can speak or a male can speak, both will say I did. Fa'altu. Zalamtu, I did wrong. She's saying, Inni zalamtu, indeed I have done wrong. Nafsun. Nafsun means self. Noon, fa, and sin. And when you combine and make a ya at the end, it becomes nafsi. Myself. Nafsi means myself. Nafsi is myself. Zalamtu nafsi, I have done wrong to myself. Okay. So she is saying, Inni zalamtu nafsi, I actually have done wrong to myself, which means I have been worshipping the sun, I have been doing wrong to myself, but now it has become open to me that, being with Suleiman, that what was the wrong I have been doing in all my life. So that is Inni zalamtu nafsi. This is also a dua that we make sometimes, part of one of our duas. Rabbi inni zalamtu nafsi, I have done wrong to myself. Then she's saying one more word. Aslamtu. Aslama means to submit. Islam. So aslamu is the word. Aslamu. And when you put a ta again with a dhamma, it is the grammar of I. Aslamtu, I submitted. Now I have submitted. This is I. Aslamtu, this meme is here. So I have done wrong, and aslamtu, now I submit. Ma'a, with Sulaiman, with Sulaiman alayhi salam, to whom? Lillahi Rabbil Alameen, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the Lord of the worlds. Just want to point out one thing here, as a rule of the grammar, we recite this all the time, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. The actual word is Allahu. Actual word is Allahu with a dhamma at the end. When we put a lam before that, it means two. And lam is a harf jar, it changes this to a kasra, and we do not pronounce alif, we take it out, and this little thing here it looks like lam, so we don't even write down that one, we just put a kasra under there. So this becomes lillahi, to Allah or for Allah. But the next word, when you make it, is the Rabbun. Rabbun means Lord. Rabbun means Lord. When you combine this, the next word, Al-Alamun, this becomes Rabbul Alameen. One dhamma goes away, so it becomes Rabbul Alameen. But why do we pronounce Rabbi? Why do we pronounce Rabbi? The word is Rabbun and Al-Alamun. Combination will give you Rabbul Alameen. The reason we do, because this word is a badal of this word. Badal means you are exchanging that word. And when you do a badal, you have to follow, if this is a kasra, you have to pronounce this is a kasra. Okay? So, lillahi, and again it continues on, but the Surah Al-Fatiha, that's how the combination is that Rabbul is pronounced as Rabbil because of this lillahi. If lam was not there, it was Allahu, then this will be Rabbul Alameen. Okay? So this is basically the end of the story of Sulaiman alayhi salam and Queen of Sheba. The conclusion is that she became Muslim, and it was the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that she came in contact through that bird. One bird made so much changes that she just came to the kingdom of Sulaiman alayhi salam, and in between so many other things did happen. That's amazing stories. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq to understand the Quran and act upon it. After that, other prophets' stories are starting in the surah. So, Sadaqallahu al-Azim.